And one of the main things that we have to do is so important to all the progressives that are listening. It's to not disengage, but to engage further and to engage in local movement politics, to get involved on a local level. And every time I think about getting involved on the local level, one of the first people I think about is Jamal Green out of Chicago. Pulling him up on my screen here. Jamal Green out of Chicago. This is a young brother who is not only involved in the Black Lives Matter movement, but he was actively involved in the Bernie Sanders movement, in the Feel the Burn. I mean, there's a video of him on YouTube right now you can go and watch where he speaks so passionately, not just about Bernie Sanders, but about progressivism, right? And about the things that we need to do. Like Tim Canova was saying, that it's not only a racial disparity thing that we have to address, we have to address the economic disparity. And this is what Jamal Green has been doing in Chicago. This past weekend, as he was leading 200 protesters in the Taste of Chicago protest, he was arrested. And he was arrested and given a $350,000 bail was set, meaning he had to raise $35,000, which is an obscene amount of money, right? This is somebody, you get that type of bail for someone who's arrested for a violent offense. And, you know, he is a local activist, but he has had a national impact, particularly because of his fight against Rahm Emanuel. And without a doubt, listen, let me tell you something about the political spectrum, the political world. If they really fear you, they have ways of getting you off the scene. And Jamal has been taken off the scene, and they're going after him in a very significant way. And I'm talking about his case because he is a dynamic. When I tell you I'm a fan of this guy, I want you to watch this clip of him speaking on the issue of Rahm Emanuel in Chicago and Rahm Emanuel's participation in the suppression of the Laquan McDonald video. That is one of the more important stories of the last year, and Jamal Green was at the forefront. I want you to listen to this clip.
It starts with honesty.
That's a good point, but Jamal, you are shaking your head in agreement. You think the mayor should step down?
Definitely. You gotta look at it like this. This is the mayor's city. He is the CEO. If this is a corporation, he would be fired. You know, you mean to tell me that the mayor, who's the CEO, the city council, who will be the board of directors, approved a $5 million settlement during the re-election campaign and not even seen the video? That does not say that we were wrong. That says that, you know, we have to keep in power. If the stockholder, if this is a corporation, stockholders would have Rahm Emanuel's head for the job that he has been doing. And as residents of the city of Chicago, we are the stockholders. So we definitely are calling for new leadership and accountability. And that does not start, or that does not begin and end with a superintendent of police or a beat cop. It starts with the mayor, who is desperate to keep in power, and the city council who's doing his bidding to also stay in power. So
Bernard,
definitely Rahm Emanuel has to go.
Bernard, your piece was
Now,
about cover
seriously,
up Chicago. Do you think that
seriously, this guy, I think he was 20 years old, maybe 22, between 20 and 22 years old, but dynamic, leading a political, economic, and racial revolution there in Chicago, and he's been taken off the scene. I'm going to keep pressing for Jamal, and I'm going to keep pressing until everyone who supports me on social media, everyone who supports any of the Black Lives Matter activists, you know, this is a guy we need to get behind and help him out in every way we can. Because to me, he represents a legitimate political threat to the establishment. And I'm trying to parse my words very, very intentionally, not to say anything that I'm not prepared to say yet. But I'll simply say this: if the system really wants you and the system is really after you, they know how to get rid of you for the long run. And he has been arrested at a protest. There's video of it. They're making it sound like he reached for a police officer's gun. And we all know that if you're a black man, you know you don't reach for a police officer's gun, right? And you know you don't do this if your name and your reputation precedes yourself. His attorney has already said that this is just a punitive action. This is really trying to send a signal to, and this is me now, this is not the attorney, they're trying to send a signal to people who are really about that change, who are really about taking it to the system and demanding economic, political, racial justice change. And Jamal is about that. And I'm trying to parse my words carefully because I don't see the kind of support around a national figure like Jamal like there should be. And I'm going to leave it there for today. I'm going to leave it there because if I go any further, I'll say a whole lot of other things that I'm not ready to say. Give me about a week or so. I might have to say them anyway. But I fully expect anyone who says Black Lives Matter and anyone who has ever rallied and anyone who has ever benefited from Black Lives Matter, anyone who's ever benefited from the support of social media, you sure as hell better have your ass out there defending and fighting on behalf of Jamal Green.